part 3 of the AutoXandTrack Mustang build. We are doing final mock-up. Pretty excited because after this, we remove all the heavy rust on the floor, get it prepped so we can get the whole floor painted, undercoated. We also show you how to fit wider tires in the back of these early Mustangs by a simple mod to the wheel well that'll get you about another inch of clearance without having to mini tub the car. Check it out. We are back working on the Mustang today, and the good news is most of the grinding and cutting and all that stuff is done. Not all of it, unfortunately, but we've even started to mock up the front cross member here. You know, the cool thing is I'm getting a chance to do the work here at the TCI R&D Center. And I'm doing most of it. You know, I've done 99% of all the removal of parts off the car, the suspension, the old stuff, all of the cutting and grinding you have to do on one of these Mustangs if you want to install the TCI IFS front suspension. But the cool thing is, you know, I've taken welding classes, but I'm not sure I really want to weld in my own suspension or not. Is there helping with some of that angle of things on the front? So while I was gone, they did weld in the boxing plates on the front frame rails here on both sides, and right now it's just you know, looks like bolted into place. I don't even think they've tacked it yet. It's just using the mock-up bolts here is how you figure out where to place the front cross member. Rumor is they wanted to get this cross member in quickly because they're going to use this car to mock up some motor mount kits for LS swaps. So those guys out there with early Mustangs that are running the TCI IFS front suspension are going to be able to buy off the shelf LS motor mounts to work with their front suspension. So that's pretty cool, actually. And but I'm not really focused on the front end today. I will be getting this car up in the air and getting under it. So I started to do all the mods, you know, to install the rear suspension, including beating the living daylights out of the frame rails under the car near the end of the frame rail. People use jacks to lift the car, and that's really thin, like really thin wall metal, and so the frame rail is normally supposed to be 2.5 inches wide. Well, mine was 3.5 inches wide in places, so I had to beat it all back into place. It had been pancaked to be able to fit the subframe connectors in that also serve as the boxing plates and reinforcements for the front torque arm cross member. So that section is going to be a whole lot stronger when this is all done. So I'm going to finish drilling all the holes and mocking up the rear suspension today, hopefully, and then either start cleaning up the rust areas under the car so I can hit those things with the rattle can probably. May try and spray the bottom of the car in bed liner. I don't know, we'll see. You can see here, got a couple started. Drilled 2 of the holes here so that we could install the top plate on the inside and drill the rest of these holes. Some of these are going to need to be drilled from the back because there's a little lip. You can see like the lip of the original frame rail. There's a few spots where the lip is like right in the center of the hole and won't be able to drill a straight hole. So then we'll move back here and drill these holes in, mount them in from the top plate, get this all mocked up, trying to figure out if we're going to be able to run the boom tube exhaust. I really want to, but it looks like at this point that would mean no speed bumps or and crazy trailer loading. All right, we have finished drilling the holes in the strengthening plates here in the rear subframe connector, front trailing arm attachment point. You can see the cross member here. It's just set in place. It's not bolted in. Doing things a little bit different than off the shelf. I have basically worn out my welcome with asking Sal and Ed to do me a favor or two on this build, beyond just the fact that we're doing the build. But there's a few things that I just didn't think the off the shelf that I wanted to go with. One of those things is exhaust clearance. So I'll be using this existing home built cross member mount, and so your exhaust will get the most clearance coming here, and this bar normally off the shelf is straight, so the bottom of the bar would be here, and you'd be giving up, you know, at least an inch of exhaust clearance there. And then this bar has strengthening bars that come out of here and go all the way down and tie into this plate back here. Normally that's done because most cars aren't caged like this one is, even though the cage will be redone, and just add the extra strength. But I just didn't think it was needed on this car. I don't think I need the extra strength of having an effect almost like two subframe connectors here. We do have the cage to tie into, and so I wanted the extra room back in here for the exhaust. Enough about that. So these holes are all drilled. I'll need to put the other plates in there. All this will come back off, by the way, to try and clean up the paint, the floorboards, as well as probably powder coat some of these parts. So the next part is going to be mounting the brackets that carry the cross member from side to side on the frame here for the upper shocks tie into that, as well as the sway bar. You can see we got one side here that has the panhard bracket. Another little tweak, because this is full race car, is we will have an adjustable panhard bar on both ends, which is pretty cool, slotted there to make adjustments easy. So I'll be taking this bracket, we put it up against the frame rail, and you slide it all the way forward to butt up against the bracket there for the bump stop, the factory bump stop bracket. And then you drill the holes that go through the floorboard first, and then you drill the holes that go through the frame. So I'm going to clamp this up against the frame here in a minute, and drill those floorboard holes, and then got to track down the bracket for the other side, do the same on the other side. And the cool thing is they do supply a jig to allow you to make sure that the holes you drill through the frame are straight. So that's the next step in the process. So last time I was here, I finished installing the boxing plates and mounts here for the cross member in the rear. So these U plates here hold the panhard bar, cross member across, which will hold the upper shock mounts and the roll bar and everything. You locate them using the factory installed bump stops. You can see here, this butts up right against the bump stop plate, and that's how you do it on both sides. But we don't need these bump stops anymore once these brackets are mocked up. So what I'm doing today is removing these. They do protrude in, and we do want to maximize tire clearance. Probably could leave it because this would probably be inside the wheel at all times, but don't need it, extra weight, we'll cut it out. So I've already started on the other side. I'm going to finish that side, cut this side out. Funny thing is, these frame rails look in amazing shape, except right under here. So something about these brackets trap moisture, and on the other side at least,
The frame definitely is not in as good a shape as it could have been. You can see here, some of this damage was caused by how we removed the bracket. I won't name names, but somebody got a little overzealous with the chisel and the pry bar before we had finished grinding everything away. But anyways, we'll finish up the brackets on both sides, and then it's probably time to modify the inner wheel tub. So at the 12 o'clock position, we've got room for a 315 with these fender flares, or at least it'll fit up in there. Whether we have the clearance to account for suspension, travel, and movement and everything kind of remains a little bit to be seen. But there's absolutely not enough room here. The wheel wells come in compared to the 12 o'clock position at like the 9 and 3 o'clock position, or I guess, you know, 9 o'clock and 2 o'clock or whatever. The wheel wells protrude in a little bit, and that is gonna need to be, we'll have to cut the wheel well here and push it in, put in a little strip there to fill it up, and then hopefully a 315 will fit. Showing you guys what I'm doing. Instead of the notch I was going to show earlier, this should actually require less welding and be a little bit easier to make. And so cut that hole out, made this template. The trick really is this 90 here. So if we bend a piece of sheet metal 90 there, it should pretty much allow the rest of it to conform.
Don't look at me. I don't know what I'm doing. So.
I'm sitting here watching you to see how I'm going to do the other side. This is the approach somebody who has done a lot more work on cars than I have takes. This is my side. We'll see how this all comes together. Cars are fun. At the handiwork that myself, James Crosby, and Ed Moss have done. The other two probably don't want their name anywhere near this, but it's ready to weld in. Instead of duplicating the factory lip here, Ed thought it would make more sense to fold it over. So that's what we did. But this should give us an inch and a inch plus of additional clearance. This is Ed's side. He did a better job bending this than I did, although mine fits more flush than his does. And we're gonna have to patch that where the seat belt anchors used to be. Those got tore out. So yeah, that was today's fun, was putting in the corners of the wheel tubs, getting them ready to be welded. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers. Thank you to all the new subscribers. Really appreciate you guys subscribing.
And if you watching this haven't subscribed yet, please consider it. Click the little bell to get notifications when I upload new videos. I can't wait to show you guys part 4 of the build. Really excited because that's final assembly. All the powder coated parts look really good. We're going to be putting it on the car, getting everything buttoned up. I'm going to do a wheel reveal. We've got brand new wheels coming for the Mustang because we're going for 315 squared on this car now. If this video gets 50 likes, I'm doing a giveaway. Do you want one of the new AutoXandTrack stickers? Do you want a never worn Optima Ultimate Streetcar t-shirt? Here's one of them. Can't remember. The other one is, they're both Las Vegas Motor Speedway. T-shirts on the back. Never worn either one of them. So if this video gets at least 50 likes, I'm going to select 2 people who've commented on the video. So you've got 2 chances to win. Each person will get a t-shirt and one of the new AutoXandTrack stickers. If you ask nicely, I could consider throwing in 2. Can't buy those stickers anywhere. Hot commodity. Thanks for watching. That's a wrap.